365 Sports with Baylor's national championship head coach, Scott Drew, who joins Craig Smoke and me here on 365 Sports. Thank you, Coach. You guys have a little bit of a break before you play again. How do you handle the schedules, players being able to maybe get away or not, or how does all that work right now?
Well, blessed this year from the standpoint the guys are going to get an extra day or two at home that they normally wouldn't get. And we'll see how it plays out. Some people swear by it. Some people don't like it. But normally we're playing a game on the 20th or 21st, and then the guys go home. And then we bring them back on usually the 26th. And this year, the 19th will be the last day of practice. So most of them will get home the evening of the 19th or the morning of the 20th. And what it's allowed us to do is, so far so good this week. People have been healthy. We've been able to have some good practices and improve in some areas where when we were a little banged up, we weren't able to, and playing as many games as we weren't able to really spend much time getting better ourselves. And at the same time, preparing for what we're about to face in the Big 12 as far as starting to dive into some offenses and defenses that we'll face in the beginning of the year with Big 12 opponents.
One more game with Arlington Baptist before you start Big 12 conference play with Utah, and I had to kind of look at the logo, and say, oh, that's a Big 12 game. You said getting better. How can you get better besides, obviously, there's a lot of things you have to get better at.
Yeah. I think if you nowadays there's analytics for everything, but offensively, free throw shooting is the biggest area where we're a 75-80% shooting free throw team in our coach's opinion, and we haven't shot it that well yet this year. Right now we got the fifth best offense out of 364 teams. So if we can raise that free throw percentage up, now you can hopefully climb in the top three. And as far as we've continued to get better with turnover rate and trying to get better at different facets within our offense. But at the same time, pretty good on that side of the ball. Defensively, it's been an area where we were as low as 87, and I think currently at 76 on Ken Palm Analytics, and trying to continue to improve on we have a great turnover rate. We're forcing a lot of people into turnovers, which leads to easy buckets on our end of things. But at the same time, when they're getting shots up, especially from three, they're shooting way too high a percentage. So working on how we can take away shooters better, how we can close out with a better sense of urgency. And then at the same time, you start the season with a game plan you think will work, and then you tweak, adjust based on who you play and what their strengths are. And then the more that they get comfortable in rotations and defensive schemes, the better you get at it. And hopefully we can continue to improve and be ready come Big 12 play there.
Was the transformation in the personality and identity of your team back when Tristan Clark went down a few years back, and then what you changed into, was that probably the most drastic kind of change you've made in season?
Oh, without a doubt. From a standpoint, you were normally offenses, if you can find one player that scores one-on-one or makes them put two on the ball, then that creates advantages for everybody else. And that year, Tristan Clark was the one guy that people had to double, and if not, he was shooting nation's highest field goal percentage. So a lot of everything we did was geared toward getting him the ball and playing out of that. And when he went down, we had to completely revamp, rechange everything. But at the same time, good teams aren't one-dimensional. They can hurt you in a variety of ways. And we became a lot more perimeter-oriented, and the guys did a great job responding until we lost to Gonzaga in the tournament.
You have mentioned analytics many times over the last few years. It wasn't always something that was there, or even some coaches were maybe afraid of it or like, ooh. When did you grasp onto it? When did it become something that you loved what it might bring to you?
Well, actually, I think we were one of one of the first schools to really dive into analytics, and Ryan Resch, who's been one of the heads of the Phoenix Suns for the last several years, was probably our first GA that came in and helped develop our own. We used to do our own analytics before everybody had scouting services that had analytics with it. But I think we were ahead of the curve there, and then obviously everybody does them now.
Scott, this is not meant to be like a zinger, but could you have ever imagined that this team would be at one point this year unranked?
No, but at the same time, not overly consumed with that from the standpoint. We know what determines our season and the success of it isn't being ranked right now. It's what we do in conference and what we do in postseason. So you look at it, and I think take out the Gonzaga game, and we're 2-2 against teams that will be in the NCAA tournament probably, and should be seeded fairly high. We've probably played 3 teams year to date that very easily could be in a Final Four, and then 2 that are more like us, meaning blending personnel together and not having as many returning guys. And hopefully, as the season continues to go, teams that are in that boat usually have a chance to have a higher ceiling and improve more throughout the year, just because they have more margin and room to grow. So like a lot of the things, if we were 0-5 in those games or 1-4, I'd be a little more worried. But would you like to be 3-2? Yeah. Same time, I was talking to the UConn staff the other day, and I mean, we lost by 30, 40, 36 or 40 against Gonzaga, and UConn beats them, and we could have beaten UConn. I mean, that was anyone's game down in the last minute. So you can look at just that part of it and say, man, we made a lot of strides for 2 road games. One, you went from getting blown out to the next one, you got a chance to win. So hopefully that's the direction we're heading. Big thing for us has been health too. I don't think any team that wins a championship, probably most coaches will tell you in those from Major League Baseball to football to basketball, they probably did a good job staying healthy enough where they could improve and put a team out there that could win each and every week. And that's one thing we really, up until this week, haven't had a chance to really practice with our guys that are playing most minutes in the rotation. And that's been a blessing this week thus far.
How did you guys not, I guess you could say, did you challenge Josh to be more aggressive after the UConn game, that he has to be better for you? And that doesn't mean others don't have to be better too. They do. But it kind of challenged him that, man, we need you really badly to step up.
Well, I think he's always known that. I think he's been a backup for 2 years, and I think one thing about his nature is, I mean, a lot of people want to play with a big that likes to pass. A lot of times he'll get a rebound underneath, and you're like, why don't you score it? And the great thing is he's unselfish and he's a great teammate. But he sets 2 things that you don't usually see in the stat line. Sets unbelievable Gore-Tex screens when people are driving, and he's a great ball screener and off-ball screener. And that contributes to a lot of success for us offensively. Defensively, he's an elite perimeter defender for a big. What we've asked him to do more of is finish more inside. We've asked him to try to affect more block shots and get more rebounds. And I think he's improving in all those areas, and hopefully he continues. And part of the scoring part is us doing a better job giving him the ball when he is open, and I think we've gotten better at that as well.
Norshad Omier is man, what a pickup that was, and you knew that when you got him out of Miami. Matt Roberts told me that he's 92 rebounds and 18 points away from becoming the 14th player in NCAA history to have 2,000 points scored and 1,500 rebounds. Has he even been better than you thought?
Uh, I thought very highly of him coming in. I tell you the areas he's been better than I thought. He has an unbelievable work ethic, and a lot of bigger players, and when I mean bigger, like interior players in basketball, play because everybody tells them to play and they're good at it, but they don't really love it or work on their game as much as guards traditionally do. And one thing, he really gets in the gym. He works at his shooting. He shot an enormous amount of shots this summer, and then lost 15 pounds, so he'd be better on the perimeter. And that work ethic, I knew it was good. I didn't know it'd be that good. So hats off to him.
One more thing, Scott. Thank you very much. I know you got meetings and media and practices and all that other stuff to go. When you played defense, and you guys, my goodness, I don't know if anyone ever played it better than the team that won the national title, but you had some dogs, and you have a few of those that look like they have fangs, but is that one of the, and maybe a large bite, jowl, whatever you want. Do you have they all, are they tough enough, and are they mean enough to make you and help you play better defense?
Yeah, I think a couple things. Hopefully, as our scheme offensively and defensively becomes clearer and easier, then there's less thinking involved. And sometimes people think, well, defensively, really, how does that? I mean, your rotations, where you channel the ball, what you do in the post. I mean, all those different nuances on off-ball screens, ball screens. As we've gone on, I think things are becoming easier and easier for them, and that allows them to be more and more aggressive. So I definitely we're trending in the right direction. Now we just need to keep doing that against Big 12 opponents coming up. And I'm one of those, the glass is always half full guys, but I definitely think that freshmen sometimes and new players sometimes physically maybe can't defend as well against 5th and 6th year guys, and then transfer guys that are new in your scheme might not physically be ready for Big 12 play. I don't see any of that with our guys. I think if there's any limitations, it'll be on what we put on ourselves. So I would fully expect us to be better defensively in Big 12 play than we've been year to date. So hopefully I'm right on that.
Yep.
And again, a lot of that is having everybody in practice, getting better, and Rob and VJ being two freshmen that are big contributors, have both definitely gotten a lot better on the defensive end and knowing what we want and how we want it done. And a lot of times in high school, the biggest adjustment's not on the offensive end, it's on the defensive end. And both of them came in where the offensive game is pretty easy for them, and defensively maybe more rules and whatnot than they were used to. So that's been something good for them. And then the transfer guys, they've been in good programs. They've been coached by good coaches, and it's just a matter of, again, all of us being on the same page and being better at what we do.
No question. Pat Nunley, I saw him the other day. He was raving about what Rob Wright brought to the table with that game against Norfolk State with the 13 assists and what he's brought to the table. That has to be a great, bright spot to see what he can do as well. And so good. I wanted to make sure I brought him up. Scott, thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the holiday break, and then you guys come back for one more non-conference game, and then, of course, Iowa State. Oh, boy, to open up Big 12 play with all those teams that are ranked, and you will be eventually. Thanks for your time.
Hey, appreciate you. Thank you, Baylor fans. Happy holidays to you, and look forward to seeing you in the Foster when we get back.
Yes, sir. That's Scott Drew, men's basketball coach at Baylor, with us on 365 Sports.